Here are 26 early game tips for Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon that'll help you on your journey. At the start of the game, you don't want to stick to a linear path. You want to explore going down different pathways, which gives you more insight on lore, potions, gear, and even access to secret enemies to fight that can drop higher tier gear. Lockpicks are super important and you don't want to break them, so slowly rotate them around a lock until you hear this specific noise, and then slowly turn it. If you feel any resistance, don't force it and slightly adjust until it's a clean open. Lockpicking is essential for opening up secret doors and chests with loot in them and levels up that important stat. If you want to play in third person, you can toggle this. I use a controller, so it's the D-pad up. However, the third person feels kind of limited. So if you want to see more, open up your settings, go to display, and increase the field of view all the way up to 120, and this is what it looks like. Gives you much more of a good view of the area. This game plays very similar to Elder Scrolls style games, which means that everything you do in this game has its own level. Casting spells increases your magic, jumping increases your agility, running increases your athletics, and whatever weapons you use increase those weapons. So keep that in mind to manage your time. When you pick up new items in the inventory menu in your equipment or in your bag, you'll see a yellow mark. These indicate all the new items you've picked up, so you don't have to really sort to look for the new stuff you get. If nothing is there that is important, you can just hit the mark all as seen button and the yellow will go away. On your map, you'll find various shrines that provide increases and bonuses, so make sure to bring the required items to the specific shrine in order to receive those bonuses. This game has fast travel points, and in order to unlock them, you just have to approach them. However, in order to fast travel, you need to have your bonfire charged up by fueling it, and the item you need is called ethereal cobwebs that you can get from enemies. The best way to gain experience is by fighting at night. Believe it or not, nighttime enemies actually give more XP points and also drop what I mentioned before, the ethereal cobwebs, which is very important to fuel the bonfire, identify items, and fast travel and do alchemy at the bonfire. But the enemies also become a lot more difficult at night, so just be careful. As you explore the world, you'll notice that you'll find statues with people holding weapons. If you interact with these statues specifically, you'll get XP in that skill. For example, a single-handed sword statue will grant you that stat, as well as the bow. Weapons and armor actually have requirements in this game, so you can't just put one on. If you happen to do something where you cheese a higher level enemy and get their drops, this gear won't function unless you put levels into the stats. And luckily for you, when you access the inventory, you can see exactly what levels are needed for that. In this game, you actually can collect bounties for killing bandits and criminals from this NPC. He can be found in the Horns of the South just after entering the main gate of the castle located on your map here. To collect bounties, talk to him and claim gold rewards. You get 10 gold per every bandit you kill. There are also special bounties on the notice board where you can get information about the criminals, like their location and the notable features, so you can find them and get extra gold coins. The best way to gain experience is by fighting at night. You can reset the stat and skill points in the game. To reset, you need the Origin Potion, which is really rare to find. It allows the player to reset all the stat points and respec them accordingly. This is really useful for players who want to create a new build for different style of gameplay. Luckily, there is one Origin Potion in one of the locked prison cells inside the asylum at the start of the game, so make sure you're exploring everything you can and picking it up. You can collect the Keeper's Tag from the dead bodies of Keepers and return them to Feargas in the Horns of the South. He'll give you coins for each Keeper's Tag you find, so this is just another way of getting more gold. There's a really insane powerful armor you can get from an NPC called the Abigor at the start of the game once you get access to the map. Now, even though you need a few levels on it to use the weapons and armors, it looks really sick. You get a glowing sword, a giant shield, and full mysterious armor. Head over to this location on your map over here at this spot. You'll find an NPC named the Abigor just chilling on the ground. Talk with him until you get the dialogue option to fight. Once you do, the area will enclose around you in a duel, so you can't run around everywhere. If you just attack him naturally, however, you won't be stuck in that duel bubble but can roam around and fight him as you please. Abigor is a really tough enemy and can pretty much one-shot you. So a trick I used was just kiting him and hitting him with magic in circles over and over again. When you notice he's about to rush you, all you have to do is just quickly press the evade button to back up real fast and get out of his range. He also has an attack where he throws something at you, so you just have to move quickly to the left or the right to avoid it. Once you do that and successfully kite him and defeat him, you'll get all his gear completely, every single thing he wears. And if you can't use it, just do what I told you in another tip and put this in storage until you have the levels where you can use it, but this is pretty sick. sick. Traveling's a little bit annoying by foot, and you can get a horse which will help you travel along routes a lot faster. Just below the King's Road Bridge, you can see a white horse over here. First, you need to kill the 2 men and then mount on the horse. You can also call the horse back near you if you lose it while exploring. Congrats, now you have a horse for your adventure. There is a way to heal yourself though without using any potions or food. In order to do this, head to the miner's tunnel and get the soul salvage from one of the crates in the cave. Soul salvage is used to cancel the summon, which restores mana if light cast is used or restores health if a heavy cast is used. You can find a wolf summon in the same crate, so you can use both the spells to summon and cancel summon to heal yourself without using anything. However, don't do this during a fight because it consumes a lot of mana. A bonus tip is for you to hit that subscribe button for more gaming content like this. Here's a little secret. After meeting with Caradoc for the first time after coming to the Horns of the South from the beach, he tells you about the lair of the beast which he entered and killed the beast. If you go to this lair located over here, you can find an egg inside the lair of the beast which can be hatched after a certain amount of steps. Kind of like how Pokemon eggs work. Once the steps are completed, you can hatch the egg by resting at the bonfire to get yourself a pet. Just after the prologue, when we get to the beach, we can roam freely. There are actually 2 small islands on the northeast of the map. We could swim to the island near the shipwreck where there is only one enemy, so just defeat him, and search the nearby sack to get the Ring of Protection and the Cloak of Retribution. Also nearby is a chest in the shipwreck where you can grab 100 coins, the Aegis of Retribution shield, and a personal diary of Captain Lex, but the main thing is at the backside of the island. From there, you can see a corpse where you can loot Summon Keeper spells, and there is also a wand there that you can collect at the ground which reduces the mana cost of spells by 15%. That's kind of big. However, you just need spirituality level 2 to use this wand, which is not too bad. To use the summon effectively, you summon the creature and then you switch to your weapon to make the fight a lot easier, so you're not just watching your summon fight. Having a shovel is really important because throughout the map you can find lots of chests buried underground. Use the shovel to dig them out and loot them. These chests also have really good items, so always try to keep a shovel with you while you're exploring. I'm gonna be honest with you, in this game you're going to die a lot, and here's actually a big pro tip that you can use. The autosave frequency doesn't happen that often in the game, but if you go into your settings, you can actually find the setting that reduces the autosave frequency and just reduce it. That way you don't have to start all the way on the other side of the map if you happen to die and miss that autosave. Sometimes in the game you'll find items with a bunch of question marks on them. In order to identify them, you need to go to a campfire, fuel the fire, and then you'll see the items. Health potions are really important for getting your health up, and actually there is a spot in your game where you can find the level 3 health potion. In order to do this, just open up your map and go to this location, and this is where you'll be able to find it. You'll notice that in this game you also can struggle with carrying weight limit and getting over encumbered, but there is actually a stash in the town where you can store your items safely. If you find any powerful weapons that you can't use or any gear that you don't have the right level for, go ahead and just go to the town and safely store them right in there. Here's something else that's really cool about this. You can also directly sell your items from the stash. Stamina management is essential for survival in this game. Every action you do in combat, whether it's attacking, blocking, dodging, sprinting, parrying, consumes stamina. This means you can't rely on spamming attacks or constantly rolling to avoid damage like in some other RPGs. If your stamina runs out during a fight, you're literally left vulnerable, which means you're unable to block, strike back, evade incoming blows, and you just get completely wrecked. So in order to stay alive, it's very important to pace your attacks in this game. Also, you need to keep in mind that enemies also have stamina. Some of the tougher ones can be staggered if their stamina completely depletes, which will give you valuable openings to deal some severe damage to them. So understanding how this system works is really big in gaining the upper hand in combat. There's a setting in the game that you can inverse hand, so the left mouse button is the left hand and the right mouse button is the right hand. So if you want to play around with that and switch things up depending on if you're using magic or a weapon, you can do that. If you enjoyed this video, you should check out this one on your screen.